YouTube. Alright, so in this video I want to talk about the storylines that are the big storylines that the media isn't covering and what a lot of people are getting wrong about this election. So one of the probably the biggest storylines that wasn't properly reported and isn't properly covered was Bernie Sanders' fundraising haul. He was literally only $1 million short of being equal with Hillary Clinton. Now, the main argument, talk to any Hillary supporter and look at anywhere in the media, the main argument for supporting Hillary was that she was more electable. You know, she has a greater chance of winning the general. Explain how. Bernie just proved that he can raise as much money as her. And if the trends continue, the next quarter, Bernie very well might outraise her. Hillary is about to lose her fundraising advantage. This is huge. Now, I know a lot of people will argue, well, the recent polls showing that Hillary is retaking her lead in New Hampshire and in Iowa and all that stuff. Yeah. You guys are missing the bigger picture of what those news reports are saying and what those poll reports are saying. I'm not going to argue on the technicalities of the poll and whatever. Let's just set them at face value. Hillary Clinton started out with an over 70% advantage overall, and average, over Bernie. In some states, as much as 90% advantage over Bernie, because people had never heard of him. And in what, 4 months? Just about. She's only leading in New Hampshire by 3 points. How is that? How is that good news for Hillary? Think about that. From 70% lead to 3 points. How is that an advantage? The real story is that Hillary Clinton, with over 20 years of name recognition behind her, with all of the corporate money and influence behind her, with the media advantage because Bernie wasn't being covered for a very long time, with all of these advantages, can only scrape together a 3% lead in a major battleground state like New Hampshire. That's the real story. Hillary Clinton, with all of these advantages, is about to be outpaced in fundraising by Bernie Sanders. That's the real story about what's happening here. And why, as I've been saying this entire time, Hillary Clinton has no chance of winning the election. And just to follow up on that, there is one other point. Look at the differences in messages. Hillary's message is one of fear. Be afraid of the Republicans, so vote for me because I'm the only chance you have of winning and preventing Republicans from coming over. Bernie's message is one of hope. Instead of running from the Republicans, we can fight back. And we can win. And we can change this. And we need a political revolution. I need you to stand with me to help take back control. How is it that Hillary has a stronger message than that? And also just look at just the sheer mechanics as a grassroots activist. Which candidate is easier to sell? One that has policies that have been right and in line with what people want for the last 30 years? Or the candidate that's corporate funded that just got right on the issues last week? Let me ask you a question. If I came to you and I said, hey, have you ever heard of Bernie Sanders? And I start telling you about his policies. And I show you a video from any time in the last 30 years of him advocating those policies. Versus if I come to you and I try to sell you on Hillary Clinton, and my go-to move is, well, you need to vote for her because or else the Republicans will get power. Who do you think has the more powerful argument? And then when you ask me about her policies, I can't explain them because they've changed since last week. Who do you think has the advantage for the grassroots activists? Who is the easier candidate to sell? That's all I gotta say. Don't get discouraged by what you're seeing happening in the news. They're not reporting the real story. They're misreading the numbers, and it's gonna bite them. And it's gonna be freaking hilarious. No pun intended.